existence, this beautiful thing called life. And I think that really, for me, story,
Yeah.
like telling our stories, I think it's so important. I, as much as I'm like, obviously here to shed light on the injustices that happen in Hollywood, I'm also like, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have written my book. So I wrote a book called Hurricane Summer, and it's largely autobiographical, but it's fiction, and it's a coming of age story about a girl who goes to Jamaica. Um, and it's about so many things: classism, colorism, heartbreak, young love, loss, you know, coming into your womanhood, your sexuality, the father-daughter relationship and how that impacts our relationships with men, especially as young women.
Yeah.
And it's about everything other than just like, hey, I'm Asha and I'm Black, and that's all I bring to the table. It's
Yeah, of
actually a story about a girl becoming a woman.
course.
And it's about more than her Blackness, and not even more than her Blackness, it highlights the beauty of her Blackness. And anyway, so I say all that to say, I'm really excited for that. It's coming out next year in 2021 in the
Yeah,
spring.
I was gonna
But
ask when it comes out.
yeah, so 2021, we're publishing buddies. You know that, but they don't.
Yes.
So coming out in 2021 through Wednesday Books and St. Martin's Press, Macmillan. I'm super excited, but I say all that to say that I want to empower people to know that like they can tell their own stories, and you don't have to wait to be included, that you actually can be, you know, advocating for your own life and creating the story of your own life, and to know that, you know, the things that we see, I think, as people of color, especially, first generation kids, these trivial experiences that we see, these are our stories that we, what we go through when we're younger. I encourage everybody watching right now to tell your story. And I think now more than ever, we need diverse voices. We need these stories, and that there's value in these stories. And so, I think beyond anything else, because white people may see us and they may never, and that's okay, because if we see ourselves first, that is really all that matters. And if we see that we can create the table,
Yeah, for sure. I love
so
that.
passionate about
I,
that.
no, I can tell. I can tell.
Yeah.
It's coming from your heart, and it just makes sense. It just makes perfect sense. Everything you're feeling is so validated or so valid, and I think
Hmm.
that as a community of people in film, people in the arts can take it upon them
Hmm.
to just be better,
Hmm.
to just be better. That
Yeah.
let's do right by you and by
Hmm.
other Black actresses who don't see themselves.
Absolutely.
Let's just let's just be better. And I vow as a producer now, because I that's something that I've been doing. I think it's I this movement which has been going on for so long, but now I think it's like now that I'm old enough to actually grasp it, understand, digest it, learn from it, grow from it, I'm like
Hmm.
I'm so on board with telling your story, and whoever wants to tell their story, it's like it doesn't have to be a story about a Black girl. It can just be a story about a girl. Like there's
Hmm.
humanity in all of it and in all of us. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
have a fucking Black girl label on it. Like it's just
Yeah.
we're just girls.
Literally. Literally.
And I think that's so important. Like I would yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I think that, you're so right. And it speaks to like the dangers of like when you do things, and not you, but the industry does things, and it's like it's a Black project, it's a Black movie. It's
Yeah.
like, no, like stop othering us,
Yeah.
Our stories are rich and beautiful and lush, and there's more to us,
Yeah.
and I think Maya Angelou, this is one of my favorite quotes because it always inspires me to like write when I don't want to. But Maya Angelou said that there's no greater agony than an untold story inside of you. And I say that in two different ways. I want people to know that Black people, marginalized people, Black people want to use our voices. We just want to speak. We just want to exist the same way George Floyd wanted to live, Breonna Taylor wanted to live. I was watching the memorial for George Floyd where Reverend Al Sharpton spoke about, what Black people feel in the Western world.
Yeah.
And it's this idea that we all feel like we have this knee on our neck, like we literally can't breathe, like we just want to speak, we want to exist.
Yeah.
in all the ways that that means, you know? And I think about that a lot because it's like, you know, we're not asking for anything unique except the ability to speak and to exist and to use our voices. And so I say that in that aspect, but I also say it in the sense again to people watching and to young girls, you know, black, brown, white, whatever, to tell their stories because their voices matter, that they are powerful, that they have so much to contribute. You know, I remember being a kid and always just wanting to be in this industry because, as I said, I'm like so emotional, a little Scorpio, just wanting to like tell my emotions to the world.
Yeah.
And I want those little girls, those little boys, you know, non-gender conforming, whoever, to know that there's so much value in who they are and that there's nothing that they lack, that they matter, that they can show up to the table. I want them to know they can come as they are. They can come as they are and they can speak, and that their stories are so, so valuable. And not just because it's like diverse,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that it truly does bring value to the table. And, you know, I think we have a responsibility as a global community, as I said, to just start to see each other more, to humanize each other more, and to find our power, you know, to use our power. And, you know, I encourage as well white allies who are watching, you know, people who do want to be a part of this whole movement to know that it's about more than even just amplifying voices. It truly is like what we do in our waking lives. If you are in the workplace, you know, speak up when you see injustice. Speak up when
Yeah.
you see, if you see something happening to someone that you wouldn't want to have to happen to yourself, you can use your voice. And that goes for even me, like anybody who has power in any way. I think it's so important that we begin to use our power in our daily lives, you know?
Yeah.
So,
That's
yeah.
it's a beautiful message, and I hope that people take that with them when they watch this, when they watch you speak, when they watch my lives, when they're learning about this,
Hmm.
educating themselves, when they're going to protests, whatever the case may be. We're one human race,
Yeah.
and that's the bottom line.
Period.
Period.
Period. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Vote, use your voice.
Please.
Vote. Please vote. You know, my mom was like, make sure you tell them to vote. So vote,
Yes.
use your voice, and know that your stories bring value and that you don't need anyone to validate that or stamp it for you. Write your story, you know? Yeah, that's it.
Well, thank
That's
you.
all.
Thank you so much for speaking, Asha. I really everything you said was so just you could tell obviously you speak from the heart about this and you're so passionate about it and you're so passionate about diversifying our world, our industry, all the industries. And I think you have my word that I'm going to do better and the best that I, to my ability as a producer, as a filmmaker, as whatever I end up being, that I'm going to
Absolutely.
implement what I've learned over this, even just this week, these past 2 weeks. It's been pretty eye opening and life changing. And I think,
Hmm.
I hope others will follow suit.
I absolutely agree. And thank you for having me. I think this is so wonderful. And, you know, I'm excited to see what other voices you amplify in the next few weeks. And, you know, I really strongly believe that this is how change happens, right? It's having these uncomfortable conversations and these honest conversations. And so just thank you for showing up to have the conversation because not a lot of people do. And so I'm proud of both of us for
Yes, I'm
speaking.
very proud of you
Yeah.
all. Thank you, Asha.
Thanks, Lily.
Um,
Awesome. Yay.
Stay well, stay safe, stay well. I guess that's
Stay well, stay safe, and Black Lives Matter.
matter. And vote.
Exactly. And vote.
Have a good
Bye, Lily.
bye.
You too. Bye.